So, I didn't know if I was going to do this or not tonight, but here I am. It's 11:33 on a Friday night in the quarantine in late April, I think. Mid-April. Boy, it's been something. And it's also been a long time since I've even done a podcast in general, but here I am. And every time it seems I do a podcast, I have a different way of recording it. I actually got a mic, which if you watched my live stream during the NHL draft, you saw. But I was thinking about doing this, but then I was like, nah, I don't really want to. It's too late. My family's gonna be asleep and whatnot. But then I decided, that I had a bunch of things I wanted to talk about, and figuring out video content I want to make has been very difficult for me lately. And so I decided to just go with I just decided to go with it. I got a bunch of things I want to talk about. Oh, it could be separate videos, but fuck it at this point, honestly. But welcome to the WolfGator Entertainment Podcast. I'm Wally. About the only person who really runs anything on here. My brother's done some streaming on my Twitch channel, but I mean it's a weekly thing, but it's not permanent. I don't really know how I want to segue into things, but so a little earlier today, I think it started last night and going into today. I decided to do what I do every week and start an argument on Facebook about politics. If you don't know, I lean fairly. I don't really lean. I'm a libertarian, so I'd like to say I'm pretty much in the middle. Socially, I lean more to the left. Economically, I heavily lean to the right. Not heavily, yeah, I pretty heavily lean to the right. But there's this person online, and they posted an article about something. It's the typical bias source, and I pushed back. Yeah, this person had kind of been getting on my nerves for a bit, politically, and so we're going back and forth. Or I'm going back and forth with a bunch of different people at this point. She's one of them, and I guess one of her friends is another. And every argument I make, I'm backing up with facts. Every argument I make, I'm backing up with some sort of something, whether it's an article, whether it's a video. I actually included an argument from Sweden, A Lesson for America, which is actually a really good documentary, and I highly suggest you look it up. But so I added a clip in there from it. They completely disregarded everything I post, any sort of logic behind any of my arguments, and I would link different topics and stuff, kind of not sticking up for what they were saying, against what they were saying, but I don't know. There's a lot more accusations being thrown from them than just with me. If you're gonna have a well-adjusted argument, I want you to come with facts, with backing to your argument, I don't want to just, hey, my feelings are hurt, this, and that. Oh, this person did something, or that person did something. Whether it's about politics, or whether it's about music. Music especially, like, if you can't give me a justified argument for a musician or something like that, oh, this music's better because this, or it's just, you're just saying, oh, this is just better because that person sucks, or something like that. Like, grow up, man, provide some. This is an intellectual conversation for me. There's so many instances on the internet where a lot of people just like to argue for the sake of arguing. I'm one of those people. But you have to, but I at least argue with some sort of backing. I'll do my research right before I rebuttal or something like that. Like, you just got to give me some hard facts. I'm a hard fact driven person, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. A lot of people internet just like to scream and yell just for the sake of doing so. A lot of libertarian pages I follow will always have article links or something like that. Even meme pages that are making the fun of things, they'll still throw an article link. It's like, here's what backing my point, or here's a paper, or here's something like that. I was actually going to link a paper done, I think, at the University of Pennsylvania by someone who grew up in poverty, and it was like, actually, it was a good argument against socialism, which is they were arguing, the people on the internet were arguing against me about how capitalism is flawed and corrupt, and yeah, I mean, I completely agree in some way, shape, and form. There's always going to be that little bit of corruption there, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. I kind of want to include screenshots, but I'm not going to be like that either. So it is what it is, I don't know. Just arguing on the internet's not. It's fun, especially if you push people's buttons. But it's also not fun because there's not much of a structure to the debate, and it's less of a debate and more of a yelling match, Yeah, I don't know. That little blurb there went a lot quicker than I expected. Like, I'm only 7 minutes into this podcast. If you hear me going back and forth or any buzzing or something, that group chat, or it was going wild for a little bit. Anyway. So there's no sports during this whole quarantine period, and at first it affected me a bit because, like, a lot of my life revolves around hockey. As you can see from this channel, I've had some content. It's not the usual stuff I post here. My last video was something that my parents made for Facebook, and I figured, let's accrue some views on YouTube too. I think I have like 3 times as many views on Facebook as I do 3 times. I think I actually have 100 times as many views on Facebook as I do on YouTube, because I only have 1 YouTube view for that video. But the lack of sports was getting to me at first, and it's driving me a little wild. I really enjoy sports. Let's see, how many views does it have? Oh, it doesn't say. Oh well. But so on MLB opening day, me and my family went outside the backyard. We decided to play wiffle ball, kind of give people, like a sense of sports or whatever. And esports have been doing that too. Like, I know the Nasher, who is a big video game player. He's been doing a lot with NHL guys, doing streams and stuff like that. Kind of giving some semblance. For a while, each NHL team was simulating the rest of their season off. I know the Devils did that. The Preds are replaying old games, which I really think they should replay the Cup run that they made in 2017. But right now, it's all speculation. I know the PGA plans on coming back in June. NASCAR actually just postponed again. They were going to come back in the first or second weekend of May, and do Martinsville, but they decided to postpone that actually today. But the PGA is coming back in June. I'm assuming NASCAR is probably going to do the same. without fans at either. I think those are probably the two easier of the sports to bring back, just in general. Racing and golf are probably the easiest thing to do social distancing with. Hockey's had some discussion. There's actually been a lot of cool discussion around what they could do. They could. Something I heard on the Steve Dangle podcast was that they could go to 4 different cities and bring each division to those cities, play the games out there, then go to 2 cities for the conference, or you could even just go to 1 city for the conference finals and the Stanley Cup finals. Stanley Cup final and the conference finals. Um, it lowers the amount of air travel, puts everyone in one place. You can watch after all the players and stuff like that, test them every day, and do all that kind of stuff, or every week or whatever. Um, so I think that'd be good. I think something you can add on top of that is and it'd be harder since it'd be in the middle of the summer, but you could definitely do like an outdoor game, or like have like the first round be outdoors. Um, to keep the virus, because the virus is kind of, or it's been held inside, but if it's outside, it can escape and die and stuff like that. Because I was reading a paper on different strains of this thing that affect animals, and they did a lot of different tests. Basically saying that high humidity and high temperature will kill it, at least those strains of it. But so that's an option. An outdoor. I think that'd be cool for some outdoor playoffs, regardless of whether or not there are people there. Um, NBA. I don't know if they're going to come back. I know a lot of the minor leagues have canceled their seasons. The MLB is working on trying to get back in only Arizona. I think that's what they want to do is come back and play all their games in Arizona and Florida. Maybe, I don't know. They'd be doing it based on their grapefruit and desert leagues, or whatever they're called, the Florida and the Arizona leagues. So that'd be something to see. The only one we haven't heard from is the NFL. A lot of people are speculating that they're just going to do empty football stadiums, which, I mean, it's whatever. I've not heard much from the MLS either, or the PLL, or anything like that. I also don't follow either of those sports very, as in depth as I do with hockey and with baseball. So I think just a lot of sports fans are just trying to keep saying, all these streams, with the show league in baseball and the online chell and the iRacing's been good for NASCAR. There's been a lot of issues there with NASCAR actually. If you haven't heard the news yet, Kyle Larson actually got suspended indefinitely from NASCAR. He lost all his sponsors, lost his ride from Ganassi, because he decided to say the no word. The one word no one can say, It's the one word that no one can say to anyone. Or really in general, or if you're not of African American background. So, that's his fault. He owned up to it, and I think he's getting everything he deserves. But, I mean, there's not much to unpack there. I mean, it's kind of almost like the Don Cherry situation a few months ago, except he said "you people" instead of the word. I mean, same sentiment, just one is more direct. And quite honestly more hurtful, just because of the historical context around it. So, but they've had iRacing going for a little bit, and a lot of people are enjoying that. But it doesn't replace the excitement that real sports have. I mean, even watching old games, it's just like, oh, this is cool, but like it doesn't get me as pumped up as watching a live game. And it's gonna be weird when they do come back without people in the stadium, especially for like teams that rely on it, especially in the NHL. Like I know the Preds and the Jets feed heavily, and the Islanders feed heavily on their really loud crowds, and that's like a staple of their arenas. It'd be really weird not hearing the goalie chants from Nashville. You know, I guess they play Vegas in the first round right now. Yeah, not hearing the flurry, flurry, flurry. You suck. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's gonna be weird. Or just the I like it, I love it song, I mean, they're gonna play it and stuff. It's just gonna be a little eerie without the fans. Well, I mean, we'll get used to it, but what I think they should do in all sports is like not tape, but like put a couple cameras in seats and, pull, like, have people pay, I don't know, $10 for like a season pass of this, and like they'd be able to watch it from that seat. I think that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of a cool experience. Like, all right, so I'm almost like I'm actually there. Make it like a VR feature or something like that, so that you're already paying for the advanced, VR stuff, and then you get this for an extra $10. It's like, oh yeah, it'd be real cool. That'd be something I think a lot of people would get in on. If you TV executives are listening, please credit me. I highly doubt that. Granted, I don't know a majority of my followers, a majority of the subscribers on here. So, if you're listening and you do hear that idea, make sure you give me some credit so I can help you build it. I am studying engineering, so. But yeah, it'll be weird, for sure. Maybe they'll pump their own crowds into it. Maybe they'll take like artificial crowd sounds and pump it into the arenas. Who knows? We'll see. When it all comes back, what'll happen. I just really want hockey back, Like, hockey's like a huge stress reliever for me, and it's such a big part of my life, that, it's boring without it, I've gone out and played hockey a little bit. I still listen to Steve Dangle podcast. I stopped listening to Hockey Central because I would only listen to it for the hockey news. It was entertaining, but they upped it to, 2 hours this year? And it's just too much, There's a lot to listen to in a podcast, and yeah, I like listening to it because you're short and to the point. You got all your hockey news, but I don't know. I feel like 2 hours is a little too long, but whatever. That's just me. I'm still listening to sports podcasts, but for the most part, they don't really have much to say, because there are no sports going on. So, I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't mind things returning back the way they were, but really just for the sports. I mean, quite frankly, my life has not changed all that much in the quarantine, so it is what it is at this point. I mean, I can't control it, unfortunately, as much as I would like to. Just kind of get up and walk out of the house without, having to worry about catching a virus. The few times a month I do. It's been real weird, because, all the schools online and stuff, but something that's consumed a lot of my time lately has been TikTok. I don't even know why it's so addicting. Like, it's 15 seconds. It has my attention span, just like the rest of the billion people on there, has my attention span gotten so small that it only takes 15-second videos to keep me entertained. And, like, past that, I can't watch. It's terrible, honestly. Is it the songs? Because all the songs are constantly stuck in my head. Like, quite frankly, every Megan Thee Stallion song is catchy as hell. Every Doja Cat song is catchy as hell. Every song on that app is so goddamn catchy that, like, it like draws you in. And then, of course, the girls I follow on there are all very attractive. So like obviously it's like, oh damn, I can't wait to see her again. And then obviously I follow a lot of stand up comedians as well, or just like general pranksters, some visual effects artists I follow on there. It's just it's such a it's just a vast and varying social platform. And I'm not gonna lie, I've obviously made some TikToks. I got a couple duets. If you really want to go follow me on TikTok, nah, I'm gonna keep that separate from this. If I really wanted a WolfGator one, I'd make one, but I don't. So that's just how it is. I might even make a compilation here soon. I have ideas kind of things I want to do, and I think I might make a TikTok compilation of the videos I've posted on there. It's mostly just duets and stuff, but and a couple of I've actually gotten two taken down, and I'm not really sure why. It's not like they're provocative or something like that. There's been a couple sounds been removed as well on some of the videos. I did this one where the sound was from Hercules. I guess Disney like found it, cracked down on it. So that was kind of annoying. But I mean, I just do I do duets with cute girls. God, the women on there are very talented women. There's actually this one girl I follow. I think Audrey Trillinger or something like that. I think that's who it is. Audrey Trillinger. She has been doing this thing called the Quarantine Chronicles, and holy shit, it's been so fucking hilarious. Like, oh, like she created these characters. I mean, it's not like she created them. It's not like, I mean, they're pretty common people, but like the guys, Chad is the son. He's like college age frat boy. I don't remember the daughter's name, but you know the daughter she created. Obviously, she plays. She's 13, and she does TikTok dances, and her mom will walk in, and then the mom who Audrey plays all the characters, but the mom is 48. Her name's Karen, obviously, so it's Karen and Chad. Chad's of course, he's the typical Chad, and it's like how life is going through with the quarantines, with the quarantine in like a rich upper middle class household, and it's really funny. I suggest you guys check it out. I think it's at Audrey Trillinger on TikTok. She's really funny. She actually makes really good content. Of course, I follow the TikTok dancers and stuff, but there's also some people who put really good quality content on there. It's it's genuinely funny. El Hispanic 100 is really funny. He just does stupid shit, and obviously as a male, I find this stupid shit really funny. Follow some e-girls or whatever they're called, some like scene girls. Obviously got the most popular e-girl. I'm obviously following her. I know her alt. It's Aviva Sophia. That's who it is, and then her alt account. Her other account rather, Miss Packet Obey or whatever like that. Miso Packet Bay, that's what it is. There's some weird shit, man. But and then I follow a couple really good cosplayers. I can't remember the name. I know one's Jensen Avenger, Taya Miller, and I cannot remember the other one. God, if I remember, I'll put it. I like see I don't want the audio to come on here. Oh, good, it's turned down all the way. But it's a lot of room for a lot of really cool content to me. Oh Jesus, they just changed the whole layout. Oh my God, I don't know where to start. Yeah, obviously the dancers and the Michaela Happis is also very funny. She has some cool LGBTQ content as well. It's not why. I mean, she's just funny. That's why I follow her. I'm not LGBTQ. Official school nurse is very good content. She's very informative as well. Um, God, who am I looking for? I've completely forgot. Oh, I remember now. Scroll. They've completely changed the layout of this app, and I was not prepared for it. And it's very painful trying to learn this, as I'm trying to do a podcast. If I find it, I'll let it. Oh, this ain't Jay. He's also really funny. There's Jen's Avenger. It's just cool content. I follow a couple musicians, a couple voice actors, obviously Addison Rae, the one and only, you know. Um, Tommy Knight, that's who it is. Tommy period Knight. She's a really good cosplayer as well. She makes really good content. That kind of group of cosplayers is really good. I don't think they've been involved in any of the issues. Apparently, there's this huge cosplayer backlash or some shit. I don't know. Anything like that to me is just complete bullshit. But, so TikTok's, it's kind of taken over my life a little bit. It's really bad. But, oof. I think, well, at one point, like, when I got home, about a month ago, it was actually, I think, no, it was a little bit more than a month ago. No, it wasn't, yeah, whatever. I think I was tracking about 13 hours a day. No, 13 hours a week on TikTok. Or maybe it was a day. Too long on TikTok every day. But, I don't know. A lot of the times I just go through and like every single post. And I think there's a maximum amount of things you can like on TikTok. Because I'll go through a person's profile. It'll be like, hey, I've liked this before. But, like, it doesn't show up that I liked it. And I know for a fact that I did. So, it's really strange. I think there's, like, a limit on how many things it can store in its database that you've liked. But I can't be too sure. Maybe there's, like, a timer on each like or whatever. Who knows? No, because that wouldn't make much sense. Because then no, I don't think anyone's like number. Nah, they would for a while. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Maybe I didn't, and I just feel like I did, or something like that. I don't know. All the live streams, I've actually done quite a bit for this whole, like a bunch of charity stuff, like charity streams and stuff like that on the app. They've done some cool stuff, but it's a strange app for sure. I don't know how to transition this one. But I wanted to talk about astrology. I wrote astronomy. I don't know anything about astronomy. I meant astrology. There we go. I fixed it. I wanted to talk about astrology for a second because I think a lot of people base their decisions on astrology. And this could be short. And I'm pretty much, if you like astrology, I'd skip ahead. I'm going to try to put timestamps on each part here, but I mean, no promises. A lot of people like to base all their shit, all their life on astrology, and like they think that everything revolves around. I think it's the moon or the star. I don't know. I really don't understand it. But there's in the original version of the show The Cosmos, which was Carl Sagan. He, I don't know if I'd say definitively proved, but he had put out a pretty convincing argument that astrology was a bunch of bullshit. Yet people anyway, Carl Sagan's one of the smartest men of all time. And who was he? Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was on, I mean, this probably isn't the most reputable source, but he was on the Joe Rogan show, and he was saying that, I think he referenced Carl Sagan too, but he was basically saying that it's a bunch of bullshit, and that pretty much anyone who believes in it is stupid. Not stupid, but it just makes no sense. Like, they generalize everything so much that it applies to, it makes it's generalized enough to the point to where it makes it seem specific, if you know what I'm saying. Like, these people, Aries are this such or this and this, have this and this trait. It's like, yeah, we kind of do, but then it's just like, well, actually, a lot of people have that trait. You just see it so much in these particular people because you make yourself see it in those particular people. And what I believe is Carl said is like, Carl Sagan said is like, for the sun and the moon, for the position of the moon and for the position of the sun. No, it is just the moon. For the position of the moon to have bearing on someone's personality, when two people could be completely different but born on the same day or the same time, is ludicrous. I don't know if those exact words. It's been a while since I've watched that video. I'll try to find it and link it in the description on YouTube, but it just seems wild to me that so many people will base their decisions off of, like stars and this and the moon. It's not. I wouldn't say archaic, because the very advanced people who invented it, I think, were the Greeks or the Romans, who, I mean, for their time, were extremely advanced people. Let me look, because I don't want to get that part wrong. Who invented astrology? Oh, the Babylonians did. Okay. Babylonians. Astrology originated in Babylon, far back in antiquity, with the Babylonians developing their own form of horoscopes around 2,400 years ago. Then, around 2,100 years ago, astrology spread to the eastern Mediterranean, becoming popular in Egypt, which at the time was under Greek control of the dynasty of Greek kings. Okay. So the Greeks did have a hand in it. I think that's what we use now as the Greek astrology system. Whatever. But, back then, I completely understand for wanting to think that, but to think that where the sun and the moon is during your birth has any effect on what you're going to do in the future. Horoscopes are just influencers, and they're just, again, like I said, they're just general enough to be specific, if you get what I'm saying. I don't know, it seems so bizarre to me. Like, and if you like it, you do your own thing. Just, I wouldn't base your entire life off of it, you feel? But again, I know I'm bashing it, but if you like it and you're passionate about it, you do you, man. Just know that I ain't buying it. Not for a second. Very few guys I know, actually, believe in it. I don't think I know any guys, but most of them are girls. Or women. Speaking of women, that was the next topic of conversation. And this is really just a short one. I have no luck with women. I mean, clearly, you've seen me. You hear me. Not exactly the most soothing voice. Not exactly the deepest voice. Not exactly the sexy type. But there's just... since the quarantine started, I've had, like, at least 13 or 14 matches on Tinder, which is... if you multiply anything by 0, it's still 0. So, if you add 1 and then multiply it by 13 or 14, it's way more success on Tinder than I'm used to. And I actually haven't had any in, like, a solid week. But I just historically, I'm really bad with just conversation in general. I'm just not a social person. And which is why this whole quarantine hasn't really affected me all that much. So there's this girl that, I've been friends with for a couple months now. She's really cool. She loves hockey. She, I don't know, that's about all I know about her. She's cool and she likes hockey. She's really smart. But I've tried 2 or 3 times to see if she'd go out with me, and I just tried again to see if she'd have like a virtual date with me or whatever. And each time she has never answered me. And for any girls that are listening, or just happen to find this podcast and are still listening 35 minutes in, if you want, I mean, this isn't going to go for everyone, of course. And I mean, obviously, there are TV shows like How I Met Your Mother where sometimes the character just doesn't get it and they keep pursuing. I've very rarely, I've quite an addictive personality, and if a girl doesn't let me know what they think of me, or they don't straight up tell me what they want, like right out of the gate, I'm gonna be hung up on that girl. Like there's a girl I've been hung up on for probably 6 years. Granted, I never asked her out because she had a boyfriend for most of those 6 years. And I'm not entirely sure she knew I liked her, but there was a girl I did go on a date with a few years ago, 2 years ago, and it was cool. I was texting her and stuff, and then this girl kind of came back, and then the girl I've been hung up on, she came back into my life, and I ditched the other girl, and I kind of regret that, but not really. I don't know. She's kind of like the perfect girl, the girl next door or whatever, that every guy wants, but she never told me no, because I never asked. But saying no goes a long way for most guys. Unfortunately, there are guys who don't understand the word no. And those guys are just scum. But there's a girl I asked out again 2 years ago. I think it was after I stopped. After the girl I dated. I think it was like it was December, end of my first semester sophomore year. I asked this girl out, and she's like, "No, I'm good, but thanks." I was like, "Cool." Not hung up on that girl. Never was, never will be. It's very awkward around here, but I'm just a very awkward person. And not hung up on her. I just wish the girl who I just recently asked out would just say something, just instead of just. I'm not sure she's leaving me unread. I think she's just seeing what I'm saying and deleting the entire text message chain. I don't know. I delete my messages almost immediately after I send them. So, but seriously, I'm sure she just said no the first time. I mean, she's still cool. I want her to be my friend, but I don't know. My luck with women, it's not. It's also kind of the fact that I'm not attractive, but I also don't want to seem creepy. I don't know. It's just a lot of factors, mostly on my end. But I should just take the hint, honestly, of her just not replying and be like, yo, just not back off, like, just quit asking her. Obviously, she does not want to, so, anyway, let me transition. So during this whole quarantine thing, I've had to keep myself entertained when I'm not doing schoolwork, which is very rarely, because I'm a very terrible student, to be honest. But I'm not a terrible student. I know a lot of. I doubt any employer who wants to interview me is going to get this far. But if you do happen to get this far, I'm not a terrible student. I just procrastinate heavily. I get my work done. I don't procrastinate as bad as most people. Whereas, they'll be doing, oh shit, I gotta do this thing. It's 4 a.m. on the day it's due. I gotta get it done. I'm gonna skip all my classes. No. I'm the this thing's due tomorrow. I should probably do it. Type of person, So. Safe? No, okay. It's Saturday. Duh. Okay. So, that's the kind of person I am. It's the kind of person I'll probably always be. But I I don't remember what I was going with. Oh, but during this whole quarantine thing, I decided, after I heard my TA talk about it, to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And let me tell you, Brooklyn Nine-Nine has made top 10 favorite shows of all time. Probably one of my favorite shows of all time. It is one of the funniest shows I've ever watched. It's made by the same guy. It's Michael Schur. He created The Office, and he created Parks and Rec, and God, what's the other show he did? The Good Place. Michael Schur, and Dan Gore. It's so Brooklyn Nine-Nine stars Andy Samberg, Andre Braugher, Terry Crews, Melissa Fumero, Stephanie Beatrice, Dick Blocker, Dick Blocker. Dirk Blocker. God, that I call him Dick Blocker because it's funny, but it's Dirk Blocker, and Michael McKinnon something. But it's a show about the 99th precinct in Brooklyn, New York, and it's a cop show, but it's a funny cop show. I wouldn't say it's in the same vein as Reno 911, but I would almost say it's the police version of Scrubs. I personally think it's better than Scrubs, but I haven't watched Scrubs all the way through in a while. So, but it's so good. Like, the acting in it is so good. The writing in it's amazing. The character development is fantastic. And they're on season 7 right now, and it just keeps getting better and better. And it's weird because it's hard for a show to go for that long and keep getting better. One of my favorite shows is How I Met Your Mother, and it got rough there. I stopped liking it season 6, midway through season 6. I love the show. I like season 6. I kind of like season 7. Season 8 was Season 9 was just awful, completely unneeded. But every show's got their awful season. I don't think Brooklyn Nine-Nine's hit it yet. Season 7's been fantastic so far. It's weird though, because when I catch up to a show and I'm watching it live, I don't enjoy it as much as I do when I'm binge watching it. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I can watch so much at a time. But it's a fantastic show. It really is. Andre Braugher plays his character to near perfection. I don't think anyone else would have been able to handle that role. And every character brings a little bit of themselves into the role. And I've watched a lot of interviews, stuff like that from each character, mostly from Andy Samberg and Melissa Fumero. They bring so much of themselves into the character that when you see them in an interview, it's almost like, okay, where does your character stop and where does it begin? Because Andy Samberg and Melissa Fumero, particularly, are they are Jake Peralta and Amy Santiago. They play their characters so well. And Stephanie Beatrice is an amazing actress because the fact that she can change her voice like that, it's weird when you're watching the show. And I watched it all the way through before I got to watching interviews and stuff like that because I didn't want to get spoilers to the show, and so I waited to the very end to watch stuff like that. And so when I finally got to the end, I pulled up. I wanted to hear her and Melissa Fumero speak Spanish. Melissa Fumero does not speak Spanish. I believe she said she understands it, but she doesn't speak it very much. But Stephanie Beatrice does. She's from Venezuela. Not Venezuela. Argentina. And Melissa Fumero is of Cuban descent. And so when I first heard Stephanie Beatrice's voice, her real voice, I was just like, oh my god, that is not the same person as Detective Rosa Diaz. But she's just such a great actress that she's able to just flip on a dime like that and, play her character so well. Even though I think her character and her are a little bit more different than the rest of the group. I mean, Terry Crews is Terry. Can't remember his name in the show, but I mean, he's the same as his character in the show. Captain Holt and Andre Brower are the same person. Jolo Truglio. I have not watched very many interviews from him, but the ones I have, he's very much Detective Charles Boyle. I don't think he's much of a fangirl as Charles Boyle is, but and then like I said, Fumero and Samberg are just, they are their characters. And Andy Samberg is, I think he's a comic genius. He's so funny and he's so smart about his comedy, and he writes a lot of the episodes with his buddy in Lonely Island. Not a lot of them, but he's written some episodes and he's directed a lot. And all of his movies are great. He's great on Saturday Night Live, so I don't know. It's just a fantastic show. And I really enjoy it, and I really think you should watch it if you get the chance. Because what else are you doing right now? So, I really think you should watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine if you get the chance. I actually got my roommate to get a free trial on Hulu to watch it. It's only available on Hulu. I think it might be available on Netflix outside of the U.S., but for the most part, it's only available on Hulu. It's available on Amazon Prime, but I think you have to rent the season for $11 a month or something like that. That's all you can do. It's totally worth it to watch every season. I would wait until season 7 finishes. I think they're pretty close to the end, but I'm not sure. So I think that's it. I've been rambling on for about 48 minutes. So if you enjoyed this, please give it a like. Leave a comment below. Discuss things that I've said. And subscribe. That'd be really cool if you did that. I've been at 20 subscribers. I was actually at 19 subscribers for a while. I got to 20 subscribers. Hopefully I'll have more content for you guys on the way. That's a plan of mine. It's been tough because the school here is starting to wrap up. Because of that, we're having tests and finals and stuff like that. So it's gonna be difficult, but I'll find a way. I'll probably do a drink with me tomorrow night as a replacement of my virtual date. What a sad life I live. But yeah, I think that's it for tonight. So it is 12:21 now. I almost did it for an hour, but we'll get there. Maybe I'll do this like bi-weekly. Maybe I'll try to do that bi-weekly. I'll tell you, we'll figure out how all this goes. Quarantine and stuff. But until next time, hopefully it's not another couple months. But until next time, peace out.